So this is a hands-on video in which we are going to see how can we automate the deployment. So we are going to make a change, then we will try to commit in GitHub, and as soon as we merge it into the master branch, the deployment should begin in the Jenkins pipeline. So this all automation we are going to build, and we are going to see and learn how can we do that. This is the part 1 of the entire video series. I'll also release a part 2. In this video we'll see how can we create an Amazon S3 bucket for static site render. I have also created one ebook on this deployment on whatever we're gonna discuss in the video. Please check that out. Link for this ebook is in the description. Check that out. Browser and need to type AWS Free Tier. The first link comes is free cloud computing services, AWS Free Tier. So if we'll talk what is AWS Free Tier, so AWS Free Tier is a program by Amazon Web Services that gives new customers access to over 150 AWS services and a $200 credit over 6 months to explore the platform at no cost. So you need to click on this first link, free cloud computing services. Now you have to click on create account. I already have AWS Free Tier plan, so I am directly logged in to this. Now we'll see the first step is to create the S3 bucket for hosting. So why are we doing this? So modern web application is made up of static files like index.html, CSS, JavaScript, right? So AWS S3 is a highly reliable, scalable and inexpensive service designed specifically for storing files. It's the perfect place to host our applications asset. So what we'll do, we will type here S3 and we'll click scalable storage in the cloud. So this is Amazon S3 bucket. You need to click on create bucket. When you create on create bucket, you will see the AWS region. So I have already selected this as AWS region while creating previous bucket. If you get an option to select the AWS region, you always need to select a region which is closer to your location. Okay, then we need to provide the bucket name. So I'll say demo bucket 01. Make sure to have all the letters in a lowercase only with no spaces. Now we need to scroll down and we need to come to section which says block public access settings for this bucket. You can read this text here. I'll sum it up for you. We need to uncheck this checkbox that says block all public access. And why are we doing this? So basically we are creating a cloud-based storage container that will hold all our files that will make our website. So if we will not uncheck this checkbox now, this will block all public access. So we need to uncheck it because we want to make our website visible, and that is the reason we are unchecking this checkbox. And this is the warning that will come, that turning off block all public access might result in this bucket and the objects within becoming public. So you need to acknowledge this warning. Then you can scroll down. Okay, leave everything as it is and click on create bucket. Okay, we have already created the bucket with same name, so I will add 02 and now we'll click on create bucket. I have changed my bucket name to something unique. Now I'll click on create bucket. This should create the bucket. Okay, it is saying that successfully created bucket, my live demo virtual board 2025. So this is the name of my bucket, and you can see this is also listed in the buckets section. Now step number 2 is configuring the bucket as a website. So we created this bucket, we need to configure it as a website. We'll click on this and then we'll click on the properties tab right here. Now we need to scroll down to the bottom to the static website hosting section. We'll scroll down. See, there is this section called static website hosting, and we need to click on edit. We need to click on enable. So it is asking static website hosting. We want this S3 bucket to act as a website, like hosting our files. So we need to enable this. And for the index document, we need to type index.html, because this will be the first page, or this will be served when any request will be made to this S3 website. And we are using web application used like created using HTML JavaScript, so we'll use index.html for that. After that, you can click on save changes. The message comes as successfully edited static website hosting. If you will scroll down, you will get a URL. So this is your bucket website endpoint. This is the public URL. Okay, and once you will upload your files to this S3 bucket, your changes will be visible on this live link. You can see right now you will get 403 forbidden because we have not done some configuration, we still need to do that. But once we have resolved that and you will upload your files or your project to this S3 bucket, you can see it live on this URL. Now we will go back to the buckets dashboard. We need step number 3, we need to set the public access policy. And why are we doing this? So basically, for maximum security, all new S3 buckets are private by default. So this bucket is private by default, meaning no one on the internet can see the files inside. That's why we must create a specific permission rule called a bucket policy that explicitly grants the public read-only access. So we need to click on this and we need to click on permissions tab. And basically, why are we doing this? We just saw now we are getting this 403 forbidden error. This is because it is not publicly available. So once we will do this current setup, now this policy will make our website like all the files publicly viewable, preventing a visitor from getting 403 forbidden error. So that is the reason we are doing this. So we already came to permissions tab. Now in the bucket policy, we need to click on edit, and this is the place where we need to set the policy. So we need to replace, or we need to enter a JSON. I'll show on my screen also, and I'll also provide in a document attached in this video. You can refer to that. So this is the JSON that you need to replace here, that you need to write here, and you will have to replace this as your bucket name. You need to remove this, you'll copy the bucket name and paste it here. Once you have done this, click on save changes button at the bottom. Once you have done this change, your bucket should now be publicly accessible. So if I'll go to this website again and if I'll do a refresh, so you see that 403 forbidden error has gone now and we are getting 404 not found. So this means that our website is now publicly accessible, but it is trying to access index.html, which it is not getting. That's why it is giving 404 not found error. Nice. Our step number 4 is creating a Jenkins user. So our Jenkins server will need permission to upload files to our S3 bucket. So as we are doing the CI/CD automation, right? So once any code is pushed from GitHub, we need to deploy it somewhere, right? Using Jenkins server. So Jenkins server is responsible for running the pipeline only, but deployment will happen on this S3 bucket only. So we need to create a Jenkins user, and it is a major security risk to give Jenkins, our main account, powerful root credentials. So what we'll do, we'll use an IAM service, identity and access management service, to create a dedicated restricted user for Jenkins with only the permission it needs. So what we'll do, we'll click on AWS console and we'll type IAM, and see we are getting this manage access to AWS resource. We'll click on this service. So on the left menu, you need to click on users. And what are we achieving with this? So basically this will generate a unique and secure set of access keys that Jenkins can use to programmatically access S3. It minimizes security risk by strictly limiting what the automation service is allowed to do and within your AWS account. So we'll click on users. If you can see, I've already created one user earlier. I'll click on create user to create a new user, and we can create some username like Jenkins new deployer, something like that. Okay, and then I'll click on next, and for permission options we will say attach policies directly, and in the search box we will search for S3 and we'll check on the checkbox next to Amazon S3 full access, this one, and then we'll click on next. So we will review our details. We have checked on Amazon S3 full access. We have given the username. We'll click on create users. See, our Jenkins new deployer has been created. Now we'll click on this username and we'll go to the security tab. We'll click on security credentials and we'll scroll down to access keys and click on create access keys. You can choose command line interface. Click on this checkbox that I understand the above recommendation and want to proceed to create an access key. Click on next and you can directly click on create access key. You will get a message that access key is created. This is the only time that the secret key can be viewed or downloaded. You cannot recover it later. However, you can create a new access key anytime. So you must copy and paste this secret access key somewhere so that you do not lost it. So you need to securely copy and paste it somewhere. So this was our first part. In the next part, we will see how can we create a Jenkins server. So we will create an EC2 instance in this AWS, and then we will use that as a Jenkins server, and then we will see how can we connect Jenkins server locally and then with the GitHub. So if you will click on the link in the description box, this will take you to this page, the live deployment ebook. This is a complete guide to automating CI/CD on AWS using Jenkins and GitHub. So whatever we have discussed in this video, everything is included in the ebook in a written format in a very descriptive manner. I have also covered the types of errors that you can encounter and how to resolve them, and you can learn to deploy your code with a single git push. So if you want to get this, click on this button. You can enter these details and you can also enter discount code. If you will enter VB10, and click on apply code. The first 10 people to use this discount code will get a 10% discount on this ebook. So click on this link and get your ebook today. Thank you for watching the video. In the next video, we'll be working more on the same topic. We'll see how to create an EC2. Thanks for watching the video.